Some yogurt cups in the American dairy aisle carry more sugar than ice cream, and the word yogurt on the front is doing very heavy lifting. Today, we are clearing out 11 label types you need to skip, then counting down 3 brands that are actually pure yogurt, with a number one whose entire ingredient label is just 3 ingredients long. We flipped every package, read every line of fine print, and compared sugar counts most shoppers never think to check. Some of these brands market themselves as health food while packing more sweetener per spoonful than a bowl of dessert. The question is which labels earned a spot on the pure list and which ones are selling you a health halo wrapped in syrup. Let's get into the first one you should leave on the shelf. In the 10th place, we have dessert-flavored sugar bombs disguised as daily health food. Flip over a typical 5 or 6 ounce flavored yogurt cup in the dairy aisle, and you might find 15 to 30 grams of total sugar staring back at you. To put that in perspective, a standard half-cup serving of premium vanilla ice cream contains about 14 grams of sugar. That means your quick morning snack can easily deliver double the sugar of a rich dessert. Manufacturers often load these single-serve cups with cane sugar, fruit concentrates, and sweet syrups to make up for low-fat content, transforming a simple fermented dairy product into a cup of liquid candy. While the front of the packaging displays pictures of fresh fruit and promises of active cultures, the nutrition label on the back tells a completely different story. Many of these flavored varieties push past 20 grams of sugar, which is extremely close to the federal maximum limit allowed for school lunch programs. While these sweet treats are perfectly safe to eat and can satisfy a craving, they walk a very thin line between a nutritious snack and a bowl of ice cream. If your goal is to buy pure yogurt, starting your day with 30 grams of added sweetness is a fast track to a major energy crash. Always check the added sugars line on the nutrition panel before tossing these colorful cups into your grocery cart, because the front of the package is usually just doing the talking. Number 9 takes us to the frozen aisle and those popular self-serve shops where frozen yogurt is sold as the ultimate guilt-free alternative to ice cream. Shoppers walk up to the dispensers at spots like Yogurtland, Pinkberry, or Menchie's, believing they are making a disciplined, low-calorie choice. But the nutrition facts tell a different story. Testing of popular frozen yogurt brands shows they average about 17 grams of sugar per half-cup serving. By contrast, a standard half cup of premium vanilla ice cream averages around 14 grams of sugar. That means you are often eating more sugar in a cup of frozen yogurt than you would in a scoop of rich dairy ice cream. The reason for this comes down to how these products are made. Fat is what gives traditional ice cream its velvety texture. When food companies remove the milk fat to make frozen yogurt, the product loses its creaminess and becomes icy. To fix this and keep the texture smooth, manufacturers add extra sugar and sweet syrups. The result is a treat that is lower in fat but significantly sweeter. While frozen yogurt is a perfectly fine dessert to enjoy, the health halo surrounding it is misleading. It is still a sugary treat, and eating it under the assumption that it is a healthy snack can quietly derail your diet. If you want to cut down on sugar, sometimes a small scoop of real, full-fat ice cream is actually the better choice. Always read the sign on the machine or check the online nutrition facts to see exactly what you are putting in your cup. 8th place focuses on Greek-style labels that use processing shortcuts to mimic traditional strained yogurt. Authentic Greek yogurt is made by straining regular yogurt to physically remove the liquid whey. This process concentrates the protein and naturally thickens the dairy, but it requires up to 4 times more milk and takes hours of straining. To bypass these high milk costs and expensive machinery, many manufacturers skip the straining step entirely. Instead, they thicken regular yogurt with cheap additives to artificially create a dense, heavy texture. When you flip the package over, you will often find ingredients like xanthan gum, gar gum, modified cornstarch, or gelatin listed on the back. These stabilizers hold water and prevent separation, giving watery yogurt the creamy mouthfeel of a premium strain product. The food industry uses these hydrocolloids to save money while charging you a premium price for the Greek name. In fact, a major class action lawsuit in 2014 targeted Yoplait for marketing a Greek-style yogurt that used gelatin and starches instead of straining, resulting in a $3 million settlement. While these stabilizers are perfectly safe to eat, they are functional fillers designed to mimic quality rather than deliver it. A yogurt thickened with cornstarch does not contain the high protein concentration of a genuinely strained dairy product. If you want pure yogurt, check the back panel for these additives. Real traditional Greek yogurt relies entirely on fermentation and straining, meaning it does not need cornstarch or gums to stand up on your spoon. In the 7th place, we have the brightly colored tubes and character-themed cups lining the lower shelves of the dairy aisle. These products are specifically designed with cartoon mascots and high-contrast packaging to catch a child's eye during a busy grocery run. Parents often toss them into school lunchboxes, believing they are providing a wholesome, calcium-rich snack. But when you flip these small 4-ounce containers over, the ingredient list paints a very different picture. On average, a single kid-focused tube delivers 13 to 20 grams of sugar. When you calculate that sugar content by weight, these tiny dairy portions actually contain a higher sugar concentration than some chocolate candy bars. To make the flavor appeal to young palates, manufacturers rely heavily on cheap corn syrup, cane sugar, and fruit juices from concentrate. Beyond the heavy sugar load, many of these children's brands use artificial color additives like Red 40 and Yellow 5 to give the food an unnaturally bright look. Thickeners such as modified cornstarch and gelatin are also blended into the product to keep it stable inside the squeeze tube. While these snacks are completely safe and highly convenient for families on the go, they act more like a liquid dessert than classic fermented dairy. Pediatric nutrition experts warn that starting kids on these ultra-sweet versions makes plain yogurt taste unappealingly sour later on. Parents can easily avoid this sweet trap by reading the back of the box before checkout. If you want to feed your children pure yogurt, the honest option is buying plain, full-fat dairy and sweetening it yourself with a quick drizzle of real honey or fresh fruit. Number 6 takes us to the diet section to look at light and zero sugar yogurts. These brightly colored tubs promise all the sweet flavor of a dessert with none of the guilt, often boasting 90 calories or fewer on the front. To make this magical math work, manufacturers strip out both the fat and the real sugar. But when you remove those core ingredients, you lose all the natural creaminess and flavor. To compensate, the ingredient list on the back becomes a chemistry lab experiment. You will often find artificial sweeteners like sucralose, acesulfame potassium, or aspartame, alongside sugar alcohols and stevia. While these are perfectly valid tools for managing blood sugar or cutting calories, they leave a distinct, lingering metallic aftertaste. To make up for the watery texture left behind by removing milk fat, brands have to pump the tub full of modified food starch, gelatin, and gums. You are no longer eating a simple fermented dairy product. You are eating a highly engineered gel designed to mimic dairy. If you are choosing these for specific dietary needs, they absolutely serve a purpose. But if your goal is pure, traditional yogurt, these light varieties are doing a lot of formulation tricks to hide what is missing. Flip the cup over and look past the zero sugar banner. If you see a long list of chemical sweeteners and texturizers, you are buying a highly processed food product with a health halo, not the pure, simple yogurt your body expects. Fifth place takes us to the rapidly growing non-dairy section, where plant-based cups made from coconut, almond, or oat milk are marketed as a healthy alternative. These products are a lifesaver for vegans and shoppers with severe dairy allergies, but they require significant industrial processing to mimic real milk. Because plant waters do not naturally ferment into a thick, velvety custard, manufacturers must build that familiar dairy texture from scratch. Flip these containers over, and you will routinely find water listed as the primary ingredient, closely followed by cane sugar, processed coconut oil, and a complex mixture of food starches, locust bean gum, and pectin. Without these added thickeners, the water and fats would quickly separate, leaving a watery, unappealing liquid in the tub. To boost the protein content to match dairy, brands frequently stir in pea protein, fava bean isolates, or soy protein. What you are buying is a highly engineered oil and water emulsion designed to look and feel like dairy, rather than the simple, age-old product of milk fermentation. These plant-based options are safe, legal, and highly functional for specific diets, but they carry a powerful health halo that often hides a heavily structured reality. If you buy them, scan the label closely for high sugar levels and a long list of stabilizers. If you want pure yogurt, these plant bases do not meet the standard of milk and cultures. Always keep in mind that a pure dairy cup does not need these tricks. Number 4 on our list takes us to the shelf-stable aisles and certain refrigerated tubs that have been heat-treated after culturing. Real yogurt is a living food. It relies on active bacteria to ferment milk, which creates that classic tangy flavor and helps your digestion. But some manufacturers want their products to last for months on a dry shelf or in a lunchbox without spoiling. To make this happen, they run the yogurt through a second round of pasteurization after the fermentation process is finished. This intense heat kills off every single live bacteria colony inside the cup. While this process is completely legal and safe, it leaves you with a dead product. You are missing out on the primary gut health benefits that make you buy yogurt in the first place. You might find these dead culture products sold as toddler snacks, shelf-stable squeeze pouches, or lunchbox-friendly cups. They are highly convenient, but they act more like sweet dairy pudding than true fermented dairy. The FDA actually requires these products to carry a label stating they were heat-treated after culturing, but these disclosures are often printed in tiny, hard-to-read font on the back. In fact, federal regulators have issued warning letters to companies that try to hide this process under the generic term cultured. If you want pure, living yogurt, always search the packaging for the Live and Active Cultures seal. If the label admits the cultures did not survive the heat, you are buying a pasteurized dairy snack, not the real thing. Number 3 on our list focuses on the highly engineered, high-protein yogurts targeting gym goers and fitness enthusiasts in the dairy aisle. These colorful tubs boast massive protein numbers on the front, often 15 to 25 grams, commanding a premium price of $2 to $3 per cup. But if you flip the package over, you will see the truth about how that protein got there. True Greek yogurt concentrates its protein naturally by straining out the liquid whey, a process that requires massive amounts of milk. To bypass this expensive step, mass-market brands take a major shortcut. They start with a watery, standard milk base and simply dump in dry powders like milk protein concentrate, whey isolates, or soy protein. While this successfully spikes the protein count on the nutrition facts panel, it ruins the texture, leaving the yogurt chalky, gritty, and sour. To fix this powdery mess and mimic the velvety feel of real strained dairy, manufacturers must blend in stabilizer systems. You will find ingredients like modified cornstarch, carrageenan, and gar gum working overtime to hold the water and powder together. While these protein-fortified cups are perfectly safe, legal, and highly convenient for hitting your daily fitness goals, they do not qualify as pure yogurt. Instead, they are essentially sweet dairy pudding mixed with protein powder and texturizers to hide the chalkiness. If you want pure, clean dairy, you do not need these manufactured shortcuts. A traditional, truly strained yogurt delivers plenty of natural protein without requiring a single powdery additive or starch to stand up on your spoon. Number 2 on our list takes us to the grab and go cooler to look at pre-bottled yogurt drinks and liquid smoothies. Marketed as the ultimate gut-friendly breakfast, these colorful bottles promise a quick dose of billions of probiotics on your morning commute. But when you flip these bottles over, you quickly realize they are often just liquid sugar bombs in disguise. To make sour, drinkable cultured dairy taste appealingly sweet, manufacturers load them with liquid cane sugar, fructose, and fruit juices from concentrate. In fact, a single 8-ounce bottle can easily pack over 25 grams of sugar. Per ounce, that is actually more sugar than a classic can of cola. What is worse, because these are liquid products, water is frequently listed as one of the very first ingredients on the back, watered down to make it pourable. To keep the milk, water, and sweet syrups from separating into an unappealing mess on the supermarket shelf, manufacturers have to use artificial thickeners. You will routinely spot ingredients like pectin, modified cornstarch, and locust bean gum working behind the scenes to create an artificial, velvety thickness. While these drinkable yogurts are perfectly safe to consume and offer a highly convenient option for busy mornings, the reality is that you are paying a premium price for watered-down dairy loaded with dessert-level sweetness. If you want pure yogurt, skip the liquid shortcuts. You are much better off blending plain, traditional yogurt with real fresh fruit and a splash of milk in your own kitchen. And finally, in first place, we have the classic fruit on the bottom cups that carry the ultimate health halo. For decades, grocery store shoppers have reached for these tubs believing that the layer of fruit makes them a wholesome breakfast. But when you flip the container over, the ingredient list reveals a different reality. The fruit layer at the bottom is a highly processed jam or pie filling instead of fresh raw fruit. To prevent the fruit from spoiling and bleeding into the dairy on the supermarket shelf, manufacturers cook it down with refined cane sugar, cornstarch, and pectin. This pasteurized fruit preparation is basically a sugary gel designed for industrial shelf life rather than nutritional value. When you stir that sweet layer into your yogurt, you are mixing your dairy with dessert toppings. A single cup of berry fruit on the bottom can easily pack 20 grams of sugar, which actually exceeds the sweetness of a rich scoop of vanilla gelato. While these cups are perfectly safe and convenient, they are a classic example of the packaging doing the talking. If your goal is to eat pure yogurt, this is a major compromise. Pure yogurt is fundamentally about two things: milk and live active cultures. Instead of buying a cup preloaded with starchy fruit syrups, you are far better off grabbing a tub of plain dairy and dropping in real fresh berries at home. It takes 10 seconds, saves you money, and gives you total control over what goes into your body. First up, among our 3 pure yogurt champions, Chobani Plain, Greek yogurt shows how simple real dairy can be. Flip a cup of Chobani Plain over, and you will find an ingredient list that reads exactly how it should. There are no gums, no gelatin, and no modified cornstarch hiding on the back. Instead, this recipe lists just 3 basic components: cultured grade A skim milk, live active cultures, and a splash of whey protein concentrate, which is a natural byproduct of the straining process. To get that thick, spoonable texture, the company strains the yogurt 3 separate times over a 24-hour cycle, concentrating the protein naturally without resorting to cheap chemical thickeners. Independent laboratory testing has verified that there are absolutely zero hidden starches or hydrocolloids in this cup. It is just real fermented milk doing what it has done for thousands of years. From a grocery budget perspective, a standard 5.5-ounce cup retails for about $1.50 to $2 in most American supermarkets, proving you do not have to pay a massive premium to get honest ingredients. It is widely stocked in national chains and local grocery stores alike, making it an incredibly accessible, high-protein base for your morning bowl. While the flavored versions of this same brand do introduce some added sugars and stabilizers to keep the fruit fresh, the plain variety is an excellent example of clean labeling. It delivers a solid 20 grams of natural protein per serving, completely free of any sweet syrups or texturizing tricks. In second place, Siggy's Skyr brings a traditional Icelandic approach to the dairy aisle. If you flip over a cup of Siggy's, you will see a label that completely rejects modern food engineering tricks. There are no starches, no gelatin, and no gums holding this cup together. Instead, the recipe is remarkably simple: milk, cream, and live active cultures. Siggy's was founded in 2004 by an Icelandic entrepreneur who was frustrated by the cloyingly sweet, additive-filled yogurts on American shelves. He decided to make traditional Icelandic Skyr, which is naturally thick and highly concentrated. Making a single cup of Siggy's requires up to 4 times the amount of milk used in regular yogurt. This intensive straining process naturally drives the protein count up to a massive 18 grams per serving, without needing to dump in dry protein powders or starch-based stabilizers to cheat the texture. Independent laboratory testing has verified that the signature thick, velvety body is achieved solely through physical straining, not artificial gelling agents. Even the flavored varieties of Siggy's keep the sugar levels incredibly low, usually staying well under 10 grams, which is a massive contrast to the sugar bombs dominating the rest of the supermarket. A standard 5-ounce cup retails for about $1.50 to $2, keeping it highly competitive and accessible at almost any major grocery store. When you buy Siggy's, you are paying for actual dairy density and simple ingredients, not cheap fillers and clever packaging. And finally, in third place, Phage Total represents the gold standard of 3-ingredient simplicity in the dairy aisle. If you flip over a tub of Phage Total, you will find what is easily the shortest, cleanest label on any supermarket shelf today. The recipe lists exactly 3 components: grade A pasteurized skimmed milk, cream, and 5 specific strains of live active cultures. There are absolutely no added gums, no cornstarch, and no gelatins hiding on this list. Since entering the American market in 1998, this brand has strictly rejected modern food engineering shortcuts. Their plain Total line refuses to use stabilizers, even as competitors rely on gums to extend shelf life and cut costs. By relying on traditional physical straining, Phage removes the liquid whey naturally, concentrating the nutrients to achieve its famously dense, velvety texture rather than cheating with starchy fillers. Independent laboratory testing has verified 0 hidden additives in this plain variety, which delivers 20 grams of natural protein with only 5 grams of natural milk sugar. A standard 5.5-ounce cup retails for about $1.50 to $2, keeping it highly competitive and widely available in national grocery chains. Whether you scoop it into a morning bowl or use it as a clean cooking substitute, you are getting the honest traditional product of simple milk fermentation. Remember, everything on the store shelf is completely safe and legal, but if you want true, traditional yogurt, look past the front panel marketing and always let the ingredient label do the talking. Additionally, understanding how federal regulations define this dairy staple explains why grocery store shelves are flooded with highly engineered tubs. Under the official Food and Drug Administration Code, known as 21 CFR, Section 131.200. Any product labeled as yogurt must meet a few basic requirements. It needs to start with milk or cream, and it must contain live and active cultures, specifically Lactobacillus, Bulgaricus, and Streptococcus thermophilus, which do the actual work of fermentation. But federal guidelines also allow a massive loophole for manufacturers. The law permits optional ingredients like sweeteners, starches, and chemically derived stabilizers to be dumped into the vat, provided they are listed on the back of the package. It does not regulate terms like Greek style or define how much straining must actually take place. This means the government treats a cup of milk and cultures exactly the same as a cup loaded with cornstarch, gelatin, and artificial dyes. Because of this, the responsibility of finding real food falls entirely on the shopper. To cut through the noise, consumers can rely on a simple three-step rule. First, make sure the product is dairy-based, made from real milk or cream. Second, check that it contains live and active cultures to support digestion. Third, verify that the ingredient panel is completely free of starches, gums, and gelatin. By sticking to these three simple, honest principles, it is incredibly easy to ignore the flashing marketing on the front of the plastic tub and ensure the kitchen is stocked with nothing but pure traditional yogurt. Also worth considering is how easily these clean label options fit into your weekly grocery budget. There is a common misconception that choosing pure, additive-free foods requires a trip to an expensive specialty health food store or paying a massive premium. Fortunately, our three pure yogurt champions, Chobani Plain, Siggi's Skyer, and Fage Total, are some of the most widely distributed dairy products in the United States. You can easily find them stocking the refrigerated shelves of major national supermarket chains like Walmart, Target, and Kroger, as well as almost every local regional grocer from coast to coast. Even better, choosing these honest labels does not mean paying double the price. A standard 5 to 6 ounce single serve cup of these high-quality strained yogurts typically retails between $1.50 and $2. This price point places them directly in competition with the highly processed, sugar-loaded brands sitting right next to them on the shelf. Because these dairy brands distribute on a massive national scale, they can keep costs low while maintaining high-quality standards. You are getting actual dairy density, natural protein, and zero starchy fillers for the exact same price as the chemical-heavy alternatives. If you want to save even more, buying the larger 32-ounce multi-serve tubs of these plain varieties drives the cost per ounce down even further, making it an incredibly economical staple for family meal prep. When you choose these brands, you spend your money on actual food rather than clever marketing and cheap industrial thickeners. Stocking your kitchen with pure, traditional yogurt is both highly accessible and highly affordable for the everyday American shopper. Across the entire dairy aisle, one truth remains. Real food doesn't need a marketing gimmick, just simple ingredients. Flip the cup, read the back, and buy honestly. Subscribe for more grocery guides.